people, how are you all doing today? Today's video is another hair video. I'm just going to show you guys how I made this curly cute hairstyle that you saw at the beginning of this video. So what I use is my curved needle and black thread, and because this hair is actually going to be a sew-in, however the invisible part is going to be glued down. So I use my needle, my thread, and my scissors. And the hair I'm using today is actually one of Expression collection, and this one is called Mini Merrill. Dang it, Abiolodo, whatever the pack says anyways. So yeah, and it's in color black. I'm in color 1, which is black. I'm just showing you guys how the hair looks like. It has this gorgeous coils. I actually thought the coils were gonna stay that way, but I didn't know it was gonna fall apart. But you'll see what I mean as we go on. So I didn't find a stocking cap and I had to settle for this, but apparently it's a huge disappointment because it was nothing close to a stocking cap. It's actually worse than what I thought it was, but hey, I have to work with what I have. So I'm just showing you guys how my braid pattern is. What I did is I just braided my hair all back, and the ends of each braid I braided them all together into one end. As you can see, that's the one end that I'm trying to tuck in there. And you see the huge gap right there at the side is where my invisible part is gonna be. That's why that place has a huge gap. So let's get it started. Okay, so normally I put on my stocking cap first, but apparently this is not a stocking cap, but I have to work with it. So what I'm just doing is tying it all around like a scarf just to make a cap out of it. I just have to be creative here, guys. So this is not a stocking cap. So as you can see, I've tied it all around, and I went ahead to use my concealer to mark where my part is gonna be so I don't sew over it. And I went ahead to take my scissors to cut off excess fabric at the back. So now at least I can work with it. Now it looks like a cap in it. So yeah, that's how it looks like at the back now. I'm just trying to tuck in the one single braid strand of hair at the back, and that's how the front looks like. And so what I do with my thread is I double the strand. You know, normally you have 2 strands like that when you put it into your needle, but no, I normally double mine and I have 4 strands of thread all together. I hope what I'm saying makes sense, just like that. And the reason why I double it is just to make my hair last longer, and you know, the thread is much stronger when it's all doubled up. So I was just telling you guys I was gonna sew most of the hair, but the invisible part I'm gonna use a glue, and you will see what I mean as we continue. So that's how the hair looks like. I really like the curls, but I wish the curls actually stayed that way, but that is how it looks like after I opened the weave. But it still look good. It still looks all nice. So I'm gonna start sewing down my weave from the back, and I picked up a hair clip to hold the other end of the weave, just so it's all secured, and it makes it the weft straight at the back. So because no hair is getting in my way as I sew down, so just like that. So the clip is holding the other end while I sew the other end of the weave.
I say to myself, say I no go long for games, yeah. Until that day you find your way, my way, yeah, yeah. The matter don't pass, play, cause anywhere you day, I go day. Them like me, them say, you the one way I want, okay. Can you fool too much, so because of you I go borrow.
So you see the help of the clip at the back. You see how the weave is all straight at the back and not crooked. When you secure the other end of the weave while you sew it down, it really helps it to stay in place and stay on a straight line. What I'm saying makes sense. So normally at the end of a sew or each weft, I cut it right with the scissors. This time I'm not gonna cut it. What I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna fold the weave over. And the reason why I'm not cutting it this time is to reduce shedding. And because this hair is actually curly hair, whatever way you twist, you turn the weft, it doesn't really matter because it's all gonna be in the same direction. I'm not sure if I'm really making sense since I'm just blabbing, but I hope you guys get what I'm trying to say. So what I just did, I just folded the hair. I didn't cut it. I just folded it and started sewing down. And of course, I'm clipping it down at the other end while I sew one end. And it just really helps to make it straight. You see what I mean? See how straight it is at the back, and it's easier to sew when the other end is secured down. So what I do at the end of a thread is I cut the needle off and I take each strand of the thread and make a knot. This way it's secured down and it's not gonna lose up or anything. Just like that. So I'm at another end of a weft. So what I usually do when I'm done sewing a layer of weave is that to secure that part down, because I'm not cutting the hair, remember, I'm just switching it over. What I do is I make a big hole like that and I pass my needle right in the middle of it, just like that. And what that does, it really secures it down. That wave is going nowhere, I tell you guys, it's going nowhere. So, and I went ahead to fold it over again, and this is what I did throughout until I got to the top of my head. So I'm just gonna sew till I get to the top of my head, and I'm gonna come back to show you guys what next I did. I'm just showing you guys how it's looking right now. It's coming together, and I really like how straight my weave is. It's not crooked or anything, and that's part of what the stocking cap does. It helps to make the hair all straight while you sew it down. So I'm just showing you guys closely how I actually pull my needle through. can see, guys, I've made progress and I'm still using one pack of hair and I still have a lot left. But as you can see, my so-called stocking cap has moved to the back. And you see, like, you can see my braids now. It's not supposed to be that. If I use the real stocking cap, it is not going to move anywhere. But because this one was just what it is, so it moved backwards. But it's all okay. I'll still keep using it. I'll still keep sewing, rather. So I'm still like sewing around. I've not started cutting the weave yet. I've not started cutting it yet. I'm still just sewing all around. So yeah, that's what is left of the one pack of weave, as you can see. So now, because that's not gonna go around, so I'm not gonna cut it. This is the first time I'm cutting the weave, so I'm cutting that little piece off.
NotJustOK.com.
So that's what's left of the one pack. So what I'm just doing, I'm securing the half where I cut the weave off. I'm securing it down so it won't go anywhere. And normally at the end of sewing a layer of weave down, I don't cut off my thread either. What I do is I just take my thread and go to the next braid or next corn roll. So now I'm gonna use the second pack of hair now. So this is what I meant. So instead of cutting the thread and then going to the next braid, what I just do, I just go to the next braid straight up like that without cutting the thread. It's better that way than you cutting the thread and having to put it through the corn roll again. So it's just way better when you do it that way. So now I've started cutting my weave. As you can see, I cut that little piece that I'm sewing down right now. Hopefully you guys can see closely how I sew my weave down, because I know you guys couldn't see well what I was doing the back because my hands were blocking. It's quite easy, pretty easy. The only thing is your hands are gonna hurt because your hands are up most of the time, but besides that, it's quite easy, you know. And as you can see, I've sewed it all to the point of where my invisible part is, and I still have my so-called stocking cap there at the middle. So what I'm doing is I'm just cutting the cap off where my invisible part is gonna lay. So that's what it's looking like now. So that's where my invisible part is gonna be, all clear and nice now. So what you want to do when doing your invisible part is never ever use a track of hair without splitting it, because it's not gonna lay down. You want to make sure your hair looks like it's growing out of your scalp. So if you don't split your hair, it's not gonna look like that. It's just gonna look all bulky. So what you're gonna do is split the track like I did, and then measure the hair, the weave. So, and after measuring, I went ahead to cut the little piece that I just measured. and then I took my glue, because remember I said I was going to sew most of it in, but the invisible part is going to be glued down, because I realized the sewing down of the invisible part doesn't really look as neat as the glue, so I always prefer to use glue for my invisible part. I don't mind sewing the rest of the hair, but the invisible part has to be glued. So what I'm just doing, I'm trying to blow the glue so it's a little tacky. So now that is my first layer of invisible part. So what you want to do is lay those invisible parts, the weave right on top of each other, because if you don't lay it on top of each other, you're gonna see the track. The essence of an invisible part is so that you don't see the track of your weave, right? So you have to lay closely to each other, closely, like right on top of each other. That's what I'm doing, laying the tracks right on top of each other. And remember, I've already put glue on the weave, and I'm just putting it down. So as you can see, it's beginning to come together. You can't see any track for the first 4 layers that I've already put down. See, you have to put them on top of each other like so closely. I'm sorry I couldn't show you guys how I did the other side, because the battery of my camera died. So as you can see, I have the other side done as well. It's easy. Just what I'm doing is just putting the tracks on top of each other. That's all. That's just the secret of an invisible part. The secret is just really simple. Just putting the tracks on top of each other. So that's all I'm doing, putting the tracks on top of it so that you can't see any space. If there's a space, then you're gonna see the tracks. It's quite pretty easy, because I know a lot of people complain about how it looks hard. It's not complicated at all. It's quite easy. Just keep laying the tracks on top of each other till you get to the very end. So what I'm just doing right now is, instead of laying the track straight ahead, what I'm doing is I started to lay the tracks round you see the round circle, that's called closure. I'm beginning to make my closure. So what I did is, instead of laying the track straight like I've been doing all this while, all I did is just, do you see how I turned that track around? Yeah, that's what I'm beginning to do. And oh, and I forgot to tell you guys, when you're laying your invisible part, lay straight, don't slant it or whatever. Some people say slanted. I guess the way it works for many people is different. The way it worked for me, when I did it one time and I made it slant, it didn't really turn out well. But what I just do now is just lay it straight. So as you can see, my closure is getting smaller. So that's all I'm doing now, just going round the track and the closure instead of laying. I'm no more making the invisible part now. What I'm trying to achieve now is the closure. So I just take the strand of hair and go round, like a merry-go-round. As you can see, that's the tiny part left of the closure. So now that's the piece I'm going to use for my closure. As you know how I do my closure, put glue on it, roll it or fold it around till you can see any space in between, and then find the middle, and I used my flat iron to press it down. I'm sorry I couldn't record that part because my battery died again, but if you want to see how I put my invisible part, I'm gonna put the link to another video of the previous hair video that I did in the description box down below. It's quite easy. Make that closure. All I did is put glue on the mid, find the middle, press it down with my flat iron like I said, and then put glue in the middle and just put it right in the little closure in the middle of my hair. So now the hair is done, and that's how it looks after. As you can see, my invisible part looks like the hair is growing out of my scalp, right? So that is the essence. That is the essence of an invisible part, so it looks natural, right? So you look like the hair is growing out of your scalp. But if you don't make it well, if you don't lay the tracks on top of each other like I did, it's not gonna turn out well. So I really like how my invisible part turned out, really nice and neat, and that's how the back of the hair looks like. Look at that ashy back, girl. Put some lotion on. So yeah, I really like how my invisible part turned out. What I just did, I just put some pins, bobby pins, to hold the curls up so that they're not all over the place. So yeah guys, that's the end of how I made my invisible part and my full head sew in. I'm really loving my invisible part. I'm really loving it. Actually, this hair reminds me of the 90s. Like, you know those big curly hairs we used to have in the 90s? Or maybe you don't know. Never mind. So yeah guys, that will be everything. I hope you guys enjoyed it and hope this helps somebody out there. So I'll see you guys in my next video. Until then, bye. Love you guys. Mwah. For more pictures, visit twitter.com at DanTemmy and Instagram at DanTemmy, and contact me for any info at DanTemmy@gmail.com. Thanks for watching.